Happy Friday, everyone! Happy Friday! It's Friday, and on Fridays we go live to tell you what's new, what's happening at the store, what's happening in nature. So there's a lot going on right now, and then particularly what's happening with our goldfinches. So that's going to be the big talk of today. What's happening with goldfinches, what you should look for, and how you can help them by providing necessary, crucial items to help them through this really important season of nesting and molting. But before we start into all of that, I want to really quick go over some of the events that we have going on because this weekend we have a pop up with Lance Lewis. He is a local craftsman and he is coming with a bunch of his creations. And you can also not only talk to him, but also maybe commission him to do some work for with a special piece perhaps at your own house. So be sure to come by for that. He has everything from feeders, he has some unique garden planters, he has a whole bunch of things, wheelbarrow style planters. It's pretty incredible what he does, so be sure you come by and check that out. He will be here at the store from 10 to 2 tomorrow, so you can come and check him out and see what's happening there. The following weekend, the 16th, we have Wings and Talents coming back to the store. They have promised to bring us some new birds, and yes, they have two new birds, so we will be seeing hopefully one or both of those, along with a third mystery bird. So please come by and check that out. They are going to be here from 11 to 2 on August 16th. So it's always a great time. It's wonderful. They always bring some really incredible birds, and you can see them up close. It's kind of like a one in a lifetime experience to see these birds that close and learn from experts about what they are and some unique characteristics they have and ways that you can help them in your own backyard. So be sure you come by and check that out too. We do have all of our events up on our website. I don't think we have the last two events up on Facebook yet, but I'm going to be working on that this weekend to put all those up on online on Facebook as well. But you can see the whole list of all the events that we have coming up on our website. Just check that out there, okay? I will be going into some new things here in just a moment, but I first wanted to talk about goldfinches because on when we want to go show the new things, I want to walk around and kind of show you those guys too. So let's start with the easy one topic, talk about goldfinches, and then we'll do some move around, okay? Um, let's talk goldfinches. All right, our beautiful golden beauties. Right, these are the guys. This is the male that we're talking about. But we also have females that are just as bright, beautiful, yellow colored, and they are in a busy, busy time of year. Okay, goldfinches right now are nesting. So they are raising young, and soon we're going to see and hear them at our feeders, probably harassing dad for food, and he's going to bring them to your feeder. So an easy thing that you can do is provide food and water to help them through this critical time. Another thing that will be shortly happening right after nesting season, and I mean in September, we're going to start to see a change. Yes, those beautiful goldfinches turn from this and start molting. They will change some of their coloration and their feathers, and eventually they will turn into that. Yes, these are both the same bird, believe it or not. It's just once they hit fall, they start putting on those winter coats. So they look a little bit different in the winter and fall. All right, they're not, they are 100% the same type of bird, and they can be found in our area here all year round. So I promise I'm going to give you the tips and tricks that you need to keep them coming all season, but not only keep them coming to your feeders, but how to help them. Because as we know, nesting season and molting season takes a lot of energy and proteins that those birds need in their diet to complete that process. Okay, so in fact, I want to give you a fun fact that winter, that molting process, it actually takes several months to complete. All right, so we won't see This guy, this gold beauty, it starts in September, but it won't end until November when they are completely like this. So it's a really crucial time that you can provide really important foods. And I'll give you all those tips and tricks here just right now, all right? So let's talk about some rules with goldfinches. Because, yes, they may be our picky birds. I often call them my bougie birds because they are very finicky. They like things a certain way, they like the high quality luxury life. And if you aren't providing that or you aren't doing certain things, you may, in fact, lose out on your goldfinches. So let's go talk about them. What are the three rules to goldfinch feeding? Okay, number one, fresh, dry, and quality food. Okay, big important thing. The reason why this is the the rule is because goldfinches are very picky. They are looking for oil inside of your seed. All right, and if your seed is old and it's starting to dry out, it won't have as much oil. Thus, they don't really want that. Okay, second part of that was dry. They are very particular about their seed. And just like us, we don't like soggy, moldy food, and neither do your birds. And in particularly goldfinches, they want it very dry. So be sure that you're using the right tools, such as domes or feeder fresh, to keep it dry. All right, and then quality. Okay, quality seed. That really comes down to freshness. So one thing you don't have to worry about is that Wild Birds Unlimited, we get our seed weekly, and sometimes more often than that. So you know that when you're coming in and you're grabbing your finch food, you know that it's the freshest you probably will ever find out at anywhere else in town, okay? We have the freshest, highest quality finch food and other bird food in town, all right? You won't find it any fresher than here. Now the problem is that if you are buying your finch food at a local hardware store or a big box store, sometimes they're buying that seed one time for the entire year. And they have a ginormous warehouse where they can house all that seed and they can just bring it out a little bit at a time on the sales floor. Here at Wild Birds Limited, we have a very small back room, which means that our seed is delivered not only weekly, but we're rotating that seed and it's moving quickly. So you always know you're getting the freshest product out that you can ever buy. So right there, it's if that's not a reason enough to go with WBU seed, I don't know what is. You know it's the best and your birds will love it and thank you for it by returning to visit numerous times throughout the year. Okay, rule number two is a clean feeder. Okay, I always say this that no one likes to eat from a dirty plate, and it's true for birds and in particularly goldfinches. So be sure that you're not only cleaning that seed, cleaning that feeder, but you are making sure that the seed inside is not wet or clumped. It's dry and fresh, just like they like it. Okay, number three, the third rule in this is keeping those feeders full all year. So my great friends over in Michigan, Mr. Bird Guy Phil, had a great, I loved his post. He recently talked about goldfinches, and I loved how he talked about and made this reference about your goldfinches because they are very nomadic, meaning that they often travel around the neighborhood hitting up all their favorite feeder spots, and your house is likely on that route, right? But let's say it goes empty for a while. If they stop by and there's no food, you will be taken off the route. So that's no fun. So we want to make sure that they are staying on, you are on their route for the goldfinch tour of the neighborhood, and you're going to keep them coming. So let's go over all the three main things that you can provide to them and how you can provide it. And I'll give you some tips and accessories for success that make it really possible, all right? Let's talk about food real quick, all right? There's 3 foods I would recommend. The first is Niger. Sometimes it's called thistle incorrectly, but that black little seed is what they most likely will come to, and most often we find them feeding from here in our area. Okay, it's not true thistle. This is imported in. Okay, it's not the true thistle, but it does mimic the thistle that they eat naturally out in the landscape. This is a top favorite. Again, this has to be fresh or they're not gonna pay any notice to it. So be sure that your seed is fresh. If you need some tips on that, I will recommend something just here in a second to test if it is fresh. So I always do sometimes it's called a potato chip test, but essentially what you're doing is you're gonna grab a couple seeds of Niger. Okay, you're gonna put it in between a piece of paper or even a tissue paper, if you will. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay it on this paper, and you're going to use scissors or something that's hard, even like a pencil, and you're going to crush the seed in between a piece of paper. Okay, you're going to crush it in between the paper. And if this paper that you put the seed on has any of that oil, right, like potato chip grease, if you will, you know that your seed is fresh and still has lots of oil in it. Thus, it's going to be perfect and loved by your finches. If there is no marks on that paper, it is dry, meaning goldfinches are going to not even give it a second look. That's a good time to put this dried Niger seed on the ground or in a tray feeder. Many other birds, like your mourning doves and even house finches, aren't as picky as goldfinches, and they will still eat it. Okay, but goldfinches are extra particular. They want it to be fresh and they want it to have oil in it, so be sure that your seed is fresh, dry, and it has its quality and has a lot of oil in it. Otherwise, they're going to pass you by. All right. Let's talk about the 2 other options of food that you can offer for your finches. The other 2 top favorites is sunflower chips. So this is very fine sunflower chips. So it is crushed and chopped up very finely so that it can fit through the ports, the very small ports on your finch feeders. This, again, has a lot of high protein and it has a lot of oil in it. It is definitely a high commodity item for your goldfinches, and they absolutely do love it. All right, the other one is finch blend. Finch blend is also loved by goldfinches, and this is a 50-50 mix of our favorite Niger and sunflower chips. So if you want the best of both worlds, you could do finch blend. It's a great option for your birds. If people always ask me which is the best option, and really it's going to be dependent on what kind of feeder you're using, which brings me to the next topic. What kind of feeders do we use to feed goldfinches? Let's talk about that real quick. Now, there is a whole bunch that you could use. Personally, I like our WBU Finch tube feeder. I love this feeder because, of course, just like all of our other quick connects, it's easy. You can really take it apart and clean it really well because remember, rule number 2, goldfinches love clean feeders. So be sure that whatever feeder you're using, it's easy to clean. Because if it's easy to clean, it's going to be easier for you to take care of it, and the birds will equally love it too. All right, the more that you can clean it better, the easier that your birds are going to be able to use it. So top recommendation is our WBU Finch feeder right here, the C2 feeder. Another very popular feeder is our mesh feeders. And again, these mesh feeders come in a couple different sizes, same with our C2 feeders. The difference in the color does not matter to goldfinches. Believe it or not, they are not one of the birds that actually cares about color. So if you use the black one, it'll be equally as attractive as if you use the smaller yellow version. All right. The one difference that this one has is that it's an eco-clean, meaning that it's made with all sorts of parts and coatings that's going to make it antimicrobial. So it's very safe and helpful in that cleaning rule to make sure that the food is staying fresh and that bacteria and mold aren't growing on the feeder itself. So really good feeder. they have advantages of both. They're both really great feeders. Another feeder, there's two more feeders that you can use to feed goldfinches. A basic one is a sock. So sometimes you can find these actually pre-filled at hardware stores or big box stores. Just be mindful that we don't know when they package that seed in here. So just be sure that you are looking for that it looks shiny and fresh. If it is not, it might be too old. But that doesn't mean that you can't use a sock. A sock is good on its own. I actually like to use socks sometimes in between. I used to use socks interchangeably. If I was taking time to clean this one, I would put this one out. Right, I put the sock out there. Now I have an extra finch feeder, something like this. So while this one's being cleaned or in the process of being cleaned, I have this one out there. So that no matter what, I'm hitting rule number 3, which is make sure that you're keeping that feeder full all year round so that the birds are still going to come back. All right. Another great new product that we have is our new squirrel-proof finch feeder. This one is made by Brome. It's actually very similar to our fundamental feeder. So essentially the ports are where you see these perches at, and they're in here. So the idea is that if a squirrel or a larger bird got on here, the ports will be closed because this cage is going to go down and block off the access to the port where the seed can be accessed. So this is actually a really great feeder if you have a feeding setup that's not either baffled or you have a yard that baffles will not work in the yard, but you want to offer, say, sunflower chips or finch blend. Now, most squirrels won't even bother with Niger. In fact, most of my Niger feeders are actually hanging right out of trees, and there's no baffle on them at all. So they don't bother the Niger, but they sure will bother finch blend with sunflower chips or straight sunflower chips. Now, this really takes that tricky part out of the option because you don't have to worry about putting it on a pole system with a baffle. You don't have to worry about putting a feeder out with a hanging baffle on top of it. You can just simply put this out there, fill it with the food that you want to use, and the goldfinches will happily go to it, and you don't have to worry about those crazy critters getting in, damaging your feeder, scaring off the birds. You don't have to worry about that. So it's another great use, okay? Some tips and accessories for success. I have a few here. The first one is the use of a dome. And what I mean by a dome is like a weather guard. So this is a great example of a weather guard. Remember I said they like fresh and dry? Well, this dome is going to help with that rule number 1. Keeping the food fresh, keeping it dry. So if there's rain or snow or any other unfavorable weather, this is definitely going to help keep the seed below it dry and fresh. So highly recommend a dome or weather guard with any finch feeder that you use. All right, and in particular, I definitely highly recommend it with our mesh feeders. And that's because, as the name states and how it looks, it's mesh, meaning that it's not a cylindrical tube that is really protecting the seed. It is much more exposed than the regular seed tube feeder, right? I would still recommend a dome for either of them, but I highly recommend it if you're using a mesh feeder. It's going to definitely save the food from becoming wet much more quickly. It's definitely going to help it out a lot more. So I highly recommend the dome, regardless of what feeder you're using, but definitely if you are using a mesh feeder, all right? Feeder Fresh is another great option to help keep that seed dry. I use this in a lot of feeders, but in particularly in our finch feeders, especially if there is no mess options like our sunflower chips, no seed on there. But alternatively, the negative downside to that is sometimes those no messes can get a lot messier or get clumpy and bad quicker because there's no shell to cover it and keep that seed good. So try to feed her fresh, and it sucks out the moisture in that tube or in that feeder, sucks out the moisture in the seed, not the moisture, the water, the moisture content in it. Okay, it will suck that out, keeping the seed fresh, keeping it dry, making it a top favorite for your birds, so that you are hitting rule number one again. All right. People always ask me about trays when it comes to finch feeders and finch feeding. And what you might be asking, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean a seed tray. So essentially, these guys fit underneath the feeder. And you might be asking, well, why would someone use that? Well, sometimes people like to have a tray underneath their seed feeder because it will catch any debris that might fall on the ground. And if you're trying to keep a tidy, clean space, trays are really great for that. However, I don't really recommend tray feeding if you're really trying to get goldfinches to come to your finch feeder. And the reason behind that is because if you add this tray, that platform to the bottom of it, you're kind of opening the door to larger birds such as mourning doves who would gladly sit there, eat until they go into a food coma, and then take a nap right at the feeder in the tray. And I'm sure some of you have seen that in action, but we definitely don't want that to happen because goldfinches are truly the low man on the totem pole when it comes to feeder dominance. And even the very passive and gentle mourning dove is a bit too scary for them. So I highly recommend that if you are trying to get goldfinches to come to your feeder, forego the tray and just stick with the regular tube feeder. Okay, they're going to be a lot happier, a lot more comfortable at the feeder. I also recommend that you place your finch feeder a little bit away from the rest of the feeders. Okay, if you have a big feeder setup, I would recommend putting it maybe on the outside of that setup because you don't want to scare off your precious little goldfinches if a cardinal or woodpeckers or other birds come to the feeder that can be a little bit more dominant. If they have their own feeder a little bit a ways, even if it's just a couple of feet away, they are going to feel a little bit more comfortable and come out more often to the feeder. All right? That's that on goldfinches. Now, I know this is the season, right? Goldfinches are out. They are nesting. You will see them soon. Soon we're going to see little babies coming out. Look for dad. Dad often in the first few days of after the goldfinch babies have fledged, they are in charge of kid duty. So you will often see a bunch of babies harassing and following dad around at the feeders. Listen for their feed me call. It sounds like feed me, feed me, feed me. So listen for it and let me know if you hear it. It's a wonderful time of year to watch this. And then shortly after nesting season comes molting. So be sure that you have your feeders ready to go, ready, full, so that you continue to be on their route. Now, goldfinches are a lot of fun, and if you love them as much as I do, there are some really cool accessories that we have here at the store that you can bring goldfinches back home inside your home, and I'm going to show you them right now. So some of my top favorites are our mugs that have goldfinches on it. We also have coasters that have goldfinches. I grabbed one that has a goldfinch on it, but we have at least 3 different styles. I absolutely love them. They're nice ceramic, and they have the cork on the back to make it non-slip. We also have WBU goldfinch earrings. These are made out of recycled cereal boxes, so they're nice and sustainable. And because they're different, right, the earrings are a little bit different, the pairs. So what I think is really cool about them is it opens up conversation with people around you that might be commenting on your earrings or the difference of the earrings themselves. And you can have a conversation like, hey, goldfinches are nesting right now. They wait until the peak of the wildflower season when all the flowers are going to seed to have their babies because they are almost 100% exclusive vegetarians. So it makes a really good, cool conversation starter or topic to talk about with your friends. Other Goldfinch items that we have are also our Buzzy products. These Goldfinch Buzzy towels, not only are they super absorbent, but they are wonderful and beautiful too. There's this little card here that shows it so I don't have to open it all up. But the one side is all Goldfinch and it's kind of like an olive colored black background. And the other side also has a beautiful image of goldfinches, and the background is a little bit of a like a tan color. It's kind of very neutral. I really like it. Alternatively, we have matching sponges. Again, these are reusable. Both of these are made out of recycled plastic bottles. So it's a pretty amazing way to say that you're reusing and reducing and reusing plastics in a fun way that brings goldfishes back into your yard and into your house. So if you love goldfinches as much as me, you probably have at least a set or two of some of these guys in your own home, okay? All right. A couple other new things that we have here at the store, because we did get in quite a few new things. And the first thing I want to show you is our butterflies and what's happening with our butterflies. So I'm going to take you over here to the counter because I have the net here and I want to show you some things. Some magical transformations are happening. Do you see that guy? He's opening up his wings for us. There are actually 3, in fact, out here. One is actually at the top here of this mesh bag right here, right here, if you see that little thing. One is opening up his wings so perfectly for us, and the other one, I just saw it. The other one is around here. Well, there's 3. And we actually have one cocoon in the process down here that's actually starting to open up. So we all together, we have 10 caterpillars, and all 10 of them have made their own cocoons, their chrysalises. They are all in the process of transformation here. So that is so cool. I really invite you guys to come by the store and check it out, the transformation that is happening. It is such a cool thing to witness with your own. Oh, I see the other one. He's up here, and the other one is on this side over here. I knew we had 3 that were open already, but it's such a cool thing. Your kit, the kit that these come from, is an insect lure, butterfly garden kit. I'm gonna go grab it real quick. Come with me. All right. So this is the kit. This is where all the action happens. This kit includes a voucher that you send in. It's already prepaid, and you can send it in for a cup of 5 caterpillars. When you put in that voucher, you can also purchase more cups like we did, to put in your kit. So it comes with everything seen here, the instructions, a little journal to kind of keep track of what's happening with your butterflies. And it comes with a feeding pipette, which we had to do today. We made nectar and put some nectar into that little sponge, that purple thing in the middle, so that the butterflies have something to consume while we're waiting for the rest to emerge, and then we're going to release them. And yes, you will all be invited for our butterfly release in our side garden. So stay tuned for more information on that. All right. Other things that we have that are new is we have gotten in a couple new stakes, and we have gotten in some more solar balloons, including one new style design. So I'm going to show you the stakes first. I think you guys are really going to like this because it goes all along with our fiber optic garden thing that we've had like last year and this year, where we had those dandelion heads that were fiber optic. Well, we have a couple new ones. This one right here has the hummingbird themed and the flowers themselves. The flowers have those fiber optic fibers on them, and yes, they change multicolor. and it's absolutely stunning. I will definitely have to show you a picture of them in the dark while they're glowing and going crazy, and I'll post it on Facebook for you as well. And the butterfly one is what we call like the fountain style. So these little hairs here are the fiber optic um, uh, fibers that will color have that color effect going on. Now both of them change multiple colors and they kind of go in a fading motion. Really, really cool. I know many of you loved those dandelion fiber optic stakes, and they really, you all told me, it makes your yard look like a magical wonderland at night. So these will be great additions to any of your backyards that are into that magical, mystical backyard garden scene. Okay, show you the balloons again. I'm going to show you this one. I know you guys have seen this one probably before, but these are awesome. Not only are they made out of glass, they are solar, but they have a really cool function. Let's see if we can get it to do it here. There we go. Yeah, they have a flame effect on them. Oop. It's solar, so it isn't like when my light here. There we go. Anyway, they do light up, they flicker and flame, which is really, really cool. We have all of our original styles back, including one other new design. So I'm going to go and show you that right now. Let's go and take a walk so I can show you the new design. It's so cool. It's one we've never had before, so it should be really exciting. So down here you can see all the colors that they have, the options. And the new one is this one down here at the corner, this pink and turquoise and yellow one. That is the new one we have in stock. So if you would like to see it in person or grab it, be sure you come in sooner than later because those balloons don't stay for long. They sell out quite frequently. And lastly, I wanted to talk about our 15% off water sale, which ends on the 17th of August. So be sure you come in and check that out. Now, I don't know about you, but we have a huge selection of bird baths and different style water products here at the store. Okay, from water wigglers to fountains, hanging bird baths, staked bird baths, glass dishes, plastic, ceramic, concrete, you name it, we probably have it. And all of those water products, including all of our bird baths and all of our bubblers, are all 15% off through the 17th. So be sure you take advantage of that. Absolutely. All right. So with that, if you guys have any more questions, you can ask them here now. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you checking out our butterflies for one last time. Check them out. They're just so cool. You guys have to come in and check it out. They are so, so cool. We absolutely love them here. They are so much fun. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget the pop-up from Lance Lewis will be coming from 10 to 2. And then next week, the 16th, we have Wings and Talents coming in the store. All right, guys, you have a wonderful, happy Friday, and we'll see you this weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye now. Happy Friday.